Welcome to Real Estate Coaching Radio, starring award-winning real estate coaches and #1 international best-selling authors Tim and Julie Harris. This is the #1 daily radio show for realtors looking for a no BS authentic real-time coaching experience. What's really working in today's market, how to generate more leads, make more money, and have more time for what you love in your life. And now, your hosts, Tim and Julie Harris.
Welcome back. It's Tim and Julie Harris, and this is your favorite daily real estate coaching and training podcast on popular request. Yes, we do listen to your suggestions. And by the way, if you have any show suggestions, just direct message us over on our Instagram page. But yes, it's 5 power moves to win luxury real estate. And I'm going to start out by preaching to the choir here a little bit, because a lot of the folks that listen to us are part of our eXp real estate family. We have 3,200 agents in our eXp Realty group, and eXp Luxury has really become a huge home run at eXp. It's something that we encourage everyone to take a hard look at, because they've really done a fantastic job of taking the whole real estate luxury space to the next level. If you're not an eXp, if you are looking for a broker upgrade, if that's something that maybe has been on your radar that you wanted to at least have a hard look at, I've got 2 paths for you. Learn more about eXp and learn why literally thousands of agents have joined with Julie and I at eXp Realty by clicking the link down below. You'll see it in the show description and whatnot. Or if you're ready to join eXp Realty and you're just looking for a sponsor that's going to be very proactive in your success at eXp Realty, Julie Harris and I are formally applying for the job of being your eXp Realty sponsors. You can just text me. I always have my phone nearby. Text me at 512-758-0206. And when you do text me, here are your 2 rules. 1, don't ask if it's me. That's very annoying. It's me. It's not AI. It's not an assistant. 2, which 9 times out of 10, people are like really surprised it's me texting back. I said it was going to be me, and I'm wanting you to understand how much I prioritize folks that want to join with us at eXp. So if you text me, I'm going to text back. But when you do text me, give me a little brief description about yourself. New agent, seasoned agent, you're a large brokerage, you're a team. Give me some background so I know how to approach the conversation with you. Save some, ramping up. So again, if you're ready to make a broker upgrade, and this is the perfect time of year to be doing it. You don't need to wait till next year. Learn more about our eXp Realty group. The link is down below. Or if you're ready to move forward and join eXp Realty, we are formally applying for the job of being your eXp Realty sponsors. And just text me directly at 512-758-0206. And the number is also down below. If you are an existing eXp Realty agent, as literally thousands and thousands of you are, we are open to co-sponsoring. All right, Julie, 5 power moves to win in luxury real estate.
That's right. So what if your next client wasn't just buying a home, but they're buying a lifestyle? Well, breaking into luxury real estate isn't just about luck, lineage, or Lamborghinis. It's about showing up with authority, building trust, and delivering unforgettable value. So these 5 power moves that we're going to talk about today will show you exactly how to earn that credibility, connect with high net worth clients, and become the agent who dominates your local luxury market. Do you like that tie-in, Tim?
Oh, I love it. You did a really good job writing that one. You and your writing assistants did a great job. And you spelled Lamborghinis right, too. I'm very impressed. Okay. Point number 1, prospect high-end expired listings. Let me tell you guys a little backstory. If you did not, first of all, you should go back to a podcast that we did, which was a replay of an interview that Howard Britton did of Julie and I back in the 90s after we'd sold 100 houses our first year in the business. And that was, as I was watching, it's so hilarious because it's Julie and I in our 20s, and now we're in our not 20s. And so this is before the interview was happening, before Julie and I broke into luxury real estate. But I know it was within 6 months or 12 months after that interview was recorded. I'll tell you exactly what we did. It was leading into the winter, in Ohio, where we're from, had real snow, real winters. And there were a ton of expired listings in this very desirable high-end market. This high-end market was maybe a half hour, 45 minutes away from where we'd grown up. We had 0 social connections. We had 0 religious connections. We had 0 connections whatsoever.
Literally no business being there.
It was, as the agents there would be happy to tell us, and they did. Yeah. So what do the whole thing. They knew who we were, but they didn't want us there. And anyway, so we went and we started studying the market. We went out there, we walked the market on the weekends, we drove through, we got to know the different streets. We would walk in the walking paths to get to know the neighbors. We weren't high-end agents. We weren't, didn't grow up that way, but we wanted to feel comfortable in our own skin as we were going after that market. And then what we did is we started to go after the expired listings. And when we went after the expired listings, I have to tell you, going after expired listings on high-end listings is so much easier than going after an expired listing on a normal priced house. The competition on the high end, for the most part, when you're going after an expired, does not exist because most high-end agents, luxury agents, don't hunt expireds. Frankly, I don't know why, but a lot of them because they think it's beneath them. Unless the expired calls them, they're not calling that expired. If you do what Julie and I did, we broke into the New Albany Country Club area by fall of the prior year. We went and started hunting expireds. And when the spring market rolled into town, right, when it finally wasn't cold or coldish, we had so many new listings. All those other agents were just had been there forever, grew up in that market, were completely blown away. And we kept that dominance because the sellers, the other neighbors, saw that we listed the listing that didn't sell. They knew that house that expired. We get it listed, and what do we do to get it sold? We hustled. We do what we always do. The exact same process to get a normal priced house sold is the exact same process you apply to the upper end house, just more of it. That's really the bottom line. And I'm trying to impress upon you Julie's first point, which is so powerful. Go after the expireds. But when you're calling the expireds, when you're thinking about what to go after the most expensive ones first, because that's where you'll find the least competition. And the competition that you have there is almost always, sorry, but it's true, the least skilled. Because they make so much money on average per sale that they've never really had to develop anything other than their social or their ability to socially network. Tennis, golf, country clubs, things like that.
But some of them are, if we're being honest, some of them are hobby agents too, and they don't maybe take their business as seriously as some of our listeners do.
And they don't know how to they don't know how to do price reductions. They don't. So if you are a luxury agent and you sell in one of these, these expensive enclaves, you probably get all of your listings through social connections, which means you're probably not going to want to piss off the person you play tennis with and tell them their listings overpriced, which means you're probably not going to be the agent that has the listing when it sells because it's going to expire on you. That is the golden opportunity that a market like this presents. Listen to what I'm saying. It truly, definitely does work. I think I nailed your first point. What do you think, Julie?
Well, absolutely. But I have to point out that the reason that it's the first point, and when I was going through with my AI editor, Matilda, she had it lower down. And I said, this is the most important point. Let's lead with this point because it is the most efficient, least expensive, least time consuming way to break into luxury. You literally can choose, as we did with New Albany Country Club, the neighborhood or neighborhoods that you wish to break into. It's a beautiful thing. And we talk about expireds all the time. We have the reminders in the newsletter, of course, things like the seller's motivated, the market's already tested the price, all of those reasons we love expired. So we'll move on to point number 2.
You've got to zoom in 20 minutes. Yes, that's true. The newsletter has all the notes. Just go to harrisrealestatedaily.com and subscribe to the newsletter, or just click the link below. All right, Julie, point number 2. This is an excellent point. 100% agree with your second point. Network with high net worth individuals. Be where they are.
Yes. So yes, you should attend charity galas, fine art showings, invitation-only events. Join local yacht clubs if that's in your area. I know we've got a client that listens in Hilton Head. She's part of the yacht clubs there. Golf associations, high-end gyms where affluent clients already spend their time. Your environment matters, so upgrade your sphere intentionally, even if it makes you, as it did for us in the beginning, a little bit uncomfortable. That's okay. It's good for you. Here's a tip. Create a quarterly luxury network plan in your CRM to track relationships and events. Treat luxury networking like lead generation, not just luck. And I have to say, Tim, this, just trust me, I'll loop this in, okay? You know, I'm a fan of Northern Exposure, and I listen to the podcast Northern Disclosure about Northern Exposure. But I'll tell you, I was thinking about this podcast when I listened to theirs today, because one of the things about that show was they had a lot of different directors, and many of their directors went on to direct The Sopranos. Game of Thrones was he started directing on Northern Exposure, and the list goes on. But here's the connector. Do you know how all those people know each other? Those directors that helped each other out and gave them opportunities? Because these were like one-off shows that they were showing that they could direct from their baby groups when their wives were pregnant. They knew each other from the Lamaze class, and then they knew each other from when they were toddlers in their preschools and then moving on to school. It was that type of social network that was the connecting tissue. Go ahead.
You guys already know what she's saying because in your own life, you know, and if you don't, I'm here to tell you. Centers of influence and past clients are where majority of your business, certainly your more desirable business, is going to always come from. There's like 60% of all your business after 5 years in real estate is the centers of influence and past clients. Every single one of my elite coaching clients, when I ask them where the business came from, all of the majority of centers of influence and past clients. When Julie and I were selling between 100 and 200 homes per year, our first probably 24 months was FSBOs, was expireds, was doing a lot of that. We kept
Open
doing
house
it.
leads. Yep.
We kept doing it. But what happened is about year 3 or 4, I remember halfway, maybe July of this particular year, we had our own dry erase board and we always kept track where the business came from and we added up. And guess what? A vast majority was coming from past clients. Julie and I did not come from real estate backgrounds. We had no advantage. We were not Nepo babies. We did not have anyone that was giving
no
us
luxury background.
no luxury background. But what we did do
opposite.
is we hustled and people saw us hustling and they appreciated the hustle, especially the luxury sellers, the upper end sellers. They would say to us that they listed with us because we are doing open houses, because their previous agent said open houses didn't work, because they saw that we are personally showing the house, because they saw we went the extra mile on the home brochure. This is, one of the things DXP Luxury does such an awesome job at. They saw we were doing all the things that a normal brokerage or agent does, but then we were backing it up with actual honest to God hustle. Because for someone to become the owner of an expensive house, despite what you may have been told, 8% of them earned their own money. They did not inherit it. The whole inheritable wealth thing, that hasn't been true for probably a good maybe 50 or 75 years. A vast majority of all millionaires in America are first generation millionaires. So when you're at somebody's expired listing, and it's a multi-million-dollar property, they are just like you, provided you have hustle. He may have owned been a plumbing contractor, or who knows what, made dental implants. I don't know, but it's somebody that started their own business, not somebody that inherited it. And so if they had to have hustle to be able to eventually buy that house, and when you have hustle, they feel connected to you. That's a connective tissue. And they know the previous agent they had just got the listing because they played golf with them and that person had no hustle. You guys get the difference? That's what Julie and I would hear. They wanted to
all
do
the time
with us. And I'm going to say this, even though some of you might not understand. New Albany was prominently a Jewish community. Julie and I are not Jewish. And everyone was telling us that Jewish people want to know, all the things, right? All the biases for or against. What we discovered is not only did they not care if we were or weren't Jewish, but they actually appreciated, guess what, the hustle. And they would tell us that. They would say to us, you guys have hustle, chutzpah, and all these other Yiddish words that you and I learned. And that really made a huge impact on us. You guys understand what I'm saying here? So if you're wondering if you have the social connections, the educational connections, if you're smart enough, tall enough, too old, too young, you don't have the right religion, all these reasons that people make excuses for themselves not to ever do business, it doesn't matter. We didn't have any of those things either, and yet we did what we did. And you can do the same thing. Does that resonate with you, Julie?
You can build it. And I just want to point out that because we're traveling through these points in an order for a reason, you should be doing both. Okay. The expireds is the I'm not going to say easy button because you do have to develop the skill, but the expireds is the faster button. Meanwhile, you need to be building all of these social connections because that does take time and it does take consistency, and you have to be very specific about it. You have to be very intentional about it. You can't just go to the things that you only like. You should go to things where high net worth individuals will be, even if it's a little out of your wheelhouse or a lot out of your wheelhouse. That's what we do. And that's one of the reasons we like your car events, Tim. You have common interests.
I've had coaching clients who have learned that, you and I are car nerds and have joined because they're car nerds too, our premier coaching or, elite coaching. And I know quite a few of them that have built real estate practices around a shared passion they have with most of their customers, their real estate customers.
Mhm.
And could be, it could be anything. Could be pickup trucks, but in my case, it's vintage Porsches and old European sports cars.
But
And
we just sent a referral to one of our coaching clients here in Dorado that came through your car association yesterday. We sent that.
yeah, well, I know somebody in California, and you might remember him from when we went to Carmel by the Sea, who is a
Mhm.
mortgage loan officer. It gets all of his mortgage business from his car connections. And,
There
and
you go.
it's no different than somebody who plays golf and gets all their golf connect or their real estate deals from their, playing
Sure.
golf, right? Referrals from that group of people. But again, if like, oh, I don't want to feel like I'm fake, I'm showing up at these, wine and cheese parties and I
And
don't
don't
know,
be fake.
then don't be fake. But if that's a big issue for you, then be you doing what you already have a passion and interest in, and then ignore the fact that you're doing it around upper end folks because they don't care either. So when you go to a vintage Porsche event, which we went to just a couple of months ago in Durham, nobody cares what your freaking income statement is. No one's asking about your net worth. They
What
only
your
want to share.
pedigree is.
They want to share with you the passion that they have for this car. And you could have been the guy that drove the garbage truck the previous day and talking with a CEO from a company, and nobody cares. That's the thing that's special about when you're trying to network amongst high-end people and you have an interest in, say, for example, watches, or if you have an interest in vintage books, or it doesn't matter, whatever the hell it is, be yourself with, now if you don't have any interest in anything, develop some interests. If you seriously, that's an important thing. Develop some interests
Mhm.
and do yourself a favor and develop interest in things that, guess what, high-end people are interested in. And if you don't know what those things are, learn what those things are. Ask AI. I'm a real estate agent. I'm looking to build my ability to social network with high net worth individuals. And I live in Columbus, Ohio. What would be what would be some things I should get involved in? And guess what? It's going to say things like, well, go to the dog park. Go to the gym that they go to, stand in line at Starbucks when they're standing in line, get to know people, because the more people will do business almost by default with people they have a high level of comfort and familiarity with, even if
Yep.
that person isn't the most competent to be the service provider. They'll choose somebody that they know who's not necessarily as experienced as someone, you guys get the point? People are always going to lean into familiarity. That's just the
But
way it
you should be
works.
both.
But
Yeah, you should be
obviously
both
you should be
the
both.
professional and do that. Okay, so that leads to number three, because in point number three, we're talking about how to develop some of those things. So there's three mini points. One is pick a lane. Don't be all over your city. Specialize in a category. Maybe that's beachfront estates. Maybe it's equestrian properties. We've had coaching clients that sell wineries, that sell high-end like campground types of things. Modern architecture. One of our clients in LA specializes in mid-century modern. Golf communities, and become the agent for that niche. We did with New Albany Country Club, for example. That's if we wanted to talk to 5 expireds, they were all going to be in New Albany, right?
Julie, let's talk briefly about
Go
that.
ahead.
We joined the club
Sure.
as social members, and then eventually we moved out there because we couldn't afford to buy a house there. So we joined
Yeah.
them, and this was, remember, it was across town. And what Julie did, she started doing some swimming things. I would go to the gym. Anytime you're doing physical activities, it's the easiest way to make friends. The endorphins and
Mutual suffering.
exactly. If there's an Orange Theory that's in that particular area, that type of thing, go to that one and network with those people, and you will not believe how A, you're comfortable around them, how B, they're just like you, and C, how interested they are in doing business with you. It's so much easier than a lot of you try to make it, feel like, and be
True.
to break into luxury. It is easy. As long as you remember you're just like them. As long as you remember they're not trying to keep you out. High-end folks.
That's in your head. Yeah.
That's in your head. High-end folks are the most welcoming and the most interested when they see you have hustle to help you, to pull you up. They're not trying to push you down. Again, if you believe that the first thing that rich people do when they're rich is pull up the ladder, that is not true. I've never personally experienced that. And neither of you, if you actually try to think of an example. What they do is they welcome others. And it's not because they feel an obligation to, it's because they see life as nothing but opportunity. And if you have hustle, if you have the potential to benefit from what they maybe could pass along to you, they're going to do it every single time. It's unbelievable how absolutely backwards most of our country has about wealth building and about building, long-term, all of that. It just is
Yeah.
unbelievably crazy how confusing it is if you've not grown up with money, which neither of us did. And as we essentially matured in our businesses and our lives, as we climbed our own wealth ladder and looking back over our shoulders, realizing how wrong we were, 20, 30 years ago about what it would take. I don't know how
Mhm.
else to say it.
No, that's right. And you do, you're going to grow into it. It's not just going to happen for you overnight. But so take, for example, just to continue on point number 3, we talked about picking something and concentrating on it. Part of doing that is to preview like crazy. Some of you are not in luxury because you're uncomfortable about it. And I have found, and every time we talk about luxury, I bring this up. I think you would agree with it. Most agents are comfortable selling homes up to about what they live in. Maybe a little bit more expensive than their current neighborhood. Maybe they've downsized once, but it's about where they live. Okay. So if luxury, and maybe you live in $1 million house and luxury in where you live is 3 to 5 million to start, right? So you go on a $3 million listing appointment and you're kind of freaking out because you haven't sold anything for 3 million and you haven't even hardly seen anything for 3 million. Of course, you're going to be uncomfortable. So you need to preview, regularly tour luxury, new construction, and resale properties. Learn the architectural styles, the materials, the design details that set luxury apart. And it is different wherever you are, right? I mean, there's some markets where $1 million doesn't even get you air conditioning, right? So that's not the same as like $1 million. And one of my clients is in Arkansas. $1 million gets you a little bit more there, right? But wherever you live, you can certainly set up those previews. And new construction is very easy to do right off the bat. But you should also go to those open houses and become familiar with that. What we did is we walked around the entire golf course community on the trail, so regularly, like every weekend, until we became more familiar, more comfortable. We would go to open houses. We would get to know the builders. We would know the model names of the houses that they were building.
Well,
So
in New
knowledge
Albany,
equals confidence, right? Go ahead.
in New Albany, there were no model names because they were all basically custom homes. But
Well, I'm talking about like in Hampstead Heath that you had the
right,
Chiswick and you had the this and the
right.
that.
But again, that Julie, what she's saying at the end of the day is go out there and just jump in the deep end, wherever that market is, and get to know it. Get to know the other agents. Don't be surprised if they're not going to be very encouraging of your moving into their markets.
Yeah.
Find out what
You
the
can immerse yourself, think about how people learn a foreign language. It's because they listen to it, they speak it, they
That's
study
right.
it constantly. And it's so much easier if you're doing that like every day as part of your routine. You can do that with learning luxury too.
It's worth mentioning here, Julie. What you're going to find is luxury buyers are going to have a different set of, they're looking for different things in homes, obviously, but what they're going to be very sensitive to is anything that's not completely up to date. So
Yes.
they're going to know that even though you walk into a luxury house and you think it has the most amazing kitchen, that kitchen was amazing 15 years ago or 10 years ago. And because they were just over in Milan or whatever, or they read different magazines or go to different websites, their eyes going to be tuned to
Yeah.
different things. So you need to tune your likes, your quirks and features, your likes and dislikes to what you know that they're paying attention to. So don't be your biggest limiting factor to being able to break into luxury. And there's Frederick Eklund, you guys might remember him. He talked about, we had him on our podcast a couple times. He talked about the fact that he would literally go to Rome and Milan, like I just said, in Paris and different places where a lot of the architectural stuff was being essentially created. And then the rest of the world would
Mhm.
essentially adopt whatever that architectural idea was. You guys remember red shiny cabinets and all the other crazy things? That all starts
Yeah.
in different places in the world, just like fashion does. And so he would go there to know what was going to what everyone was going to be wanting in 2 or 3 years in America. And then he would take those ideas to his new builders and he would say, this is what everyone's going to be asking for. And then the builders would use his suggestions that he learned when he was over in wherever, and they then would have their products look a step above what all their competitors' products were. And when a consumer would walk into their luxury condo, even though it was basically just the same square footage and all the rest of it as everyone else's in Manhattan, the ones that Frederick was repping, if the builders were listening to him, would have that extra je ne sais quoi.
It gives you a lot more to talk about, right? As you were talking, I was thinking about one of my elite coaching clients. She has a $23 million listing right now. She can tell you all about the super custom, incredible marble that's everywhere. And that seller really appreciated the fact that she knew this was coming. She had heard about this, the fact that They literally flew in the stonemason from Italy, and he lived there while the house was being built for like 6 months. But the fact that she knew something about that set her apart, and that also that she appreciated that, because who does that, right? So you can learn that, and I think it's really interesting. It's fascinating. It makes you a better overall agent, the things that you force yourself to have to learn more about. So, moving on to point number 4, because they can get all of the micro points in the newsletter. Number 4, partner with luxury service providers. Strategic partnerships win. For example, interior designers, high-end stagers, architects, private bankers, concierge services, wealth managers. These alliances expand your credibility and your referral base. And it also grows your influence. You can take these professionals to lunch, you can co-host events, you can feature them in your content, create a network where you are the connector of all things luxury for them. Does that make sense, Tim?
No, it does. And you can even go beyond that. If you're going to do, for example, I know the listing she was just talking about with all the nice marble is a 25 or $30 million property. It's a, gorgeous house.
23, yep.
Yep. And well, she's the agent that's there. She's doing those open houses, but she's partnering with the local, car dealer, and he's going to have Ferraris on display in the driveway, and he's going to invite all of his list of his Ferrari customers to go to this special party at this special house. And you guys get the point. So if you can go and combine your efforts with other folks that are also
be the connector,
servicing other high-end customers, you then get access to their mailing list. And then all of a sudden, guess what happens? Your business starts to really explode. And then people very quickly, now you got to look the part too. Julie didn't talk about that, but you definitely got to dress the part. You definitely got to, be appropriate. Don't go, crazy. If you're dressing nice in Austin, Texas is different than dressing nice in Beverly Hills, but you definitely want to make it so that when people look at you, first impressions matter. And if they're not looking at you and seeing that you are representing yourself in such a way that they would expect a very successful real estate service provider to represent themselves, you're going to essentially, no matter what comes out of your mouth next, you're going to be fighting against the headwinds you just created for yourself.
Well, that's right. And this is another thing that you can pick up when you're previewing and going to high-end open houses, right? How do people dress in that community? How do they dress when they're going to a Sunday open house? When in Rome, look the part. And the other thing that you can do, I've helped some of our coaching clients with this, is everybody's asking, like, who makes the best high-end luxury print home brochures? We'll pick one up at, Carla's open house for 23 million. That'll tell you, do what they do, right? Who does her beautiful, stunning videography? If you don't know already, you can pick that up by just getting out there and previewing and becoming familiar. And I have a Zoom in 5 minutes. So I want to do point number 5, leverage your digital marketing and your social media. Be seen where high net worth individuals scroll. Instagram, LinkedIn, Facebook. Position yourself with refined branding and elevated visuals. You might have to consistently upgrade your current look and feel a little bit if you're going from, average or middling to trying to get into luxury. You might have to refine that. I have several coaching clients that have done this systematically. And of course, they started with hunting expireds. But what they did is we curated, and AI can even help you with this, okay? They curated their 5 favorite business suits that are luxury appropriate, that they are comfortable presenting in. They have, some of them live in wildly crazy different weather swings, right? Like Phoenix can actually get cold, and it can also be 117 degrees. So curate what makes you comfortable. And when in Rome, look the part. So you can get the hints and pick that up from some of the social media. You can create cinematic content. You can certainly have AI help you with that. Film video tours, neighborhood spotlights, lifestyle stories highlighting fine architecture, amenities, craftsmanship. Go interview your top high-end builders. They would probably love to be on your podcast or in a video where you're highlighting them. So anything you'd add to that, Tim?
We can go on I would say honestly,
with time.
Yeah, when it comes to luxury, high-end videos and whatnot, AI is about to square you guys away, so I wouldn't worry too much about all that. But Julie, the 2 points that we're tying together is, like, if you're in Rome, dress as the Romans do, appear as the Romans do, but always up it. Just go 1 degree better. So if, just whatever that is in your marketplace, always look 1 degree better. And then every time someone sees you, you always look nice. If you don't think that creates a lasting impression, you're crazy. It's okay if you're in the gym and you want to wear if you want to wear a branded t-shirt or something like that, that's advertising lightly, passively about your involvement in real estate, do it. That'll be a great conversation starter. But the moral of the story is when breaking into luxury real estate, stop making excuses why you can't do it. Stop making it on something you're aspirational to do and actually get it done. And we're here to help you. This is something we've helped obviously thousands of agents to do. We did it ourselves when we sold real estate. Hey, guess what? We sold real estate. And we'd strongly encourage all of you to move forward and either, the easy button is join Premier Coaching. Just go to premiercoaching.com. Or if you already are at the top of your game and you already are somebody who's very successful and you want to go to the next level, I know Julie, we talked this morning, she's considering taking on 2 new private clients. And look, here's how it works. You text me, you're interested in being in Julie's schedule. I want you to give me a little bit of bio information about yourself, how long you've been in real estate. She's expensive and she's particular. I'll just be straight up with you. So you're going to, if I don't think from that exchange that we have that you're a good fit for her, I'm going to tell you, and I'm going to suggest you use one of our other coaches, and that's fine. But I do think you're a good fit for her, you're going to interview her, she's going to interview you. And if it makes sense, you guys will move forward together. So if you are really at the pinnacle of your career and you're wanting to go to the next level or discover what the next level is for you, that's what our elite coaching is all about. Just text me directly at 512-758-0206, 512-758-0206. In the meantime, you guys have a fantastic day. We'll talk with you on the show tomorrow. Hello, thank you for having watched this video. Please remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel.
That's right. And don't forget to hit that like button, leave your comments and questions below, and we will get right back with you.
Thank you for watching this video. And remember to watch the next one. You're going to love that one.